Every January, baseball fans hold their breath, waiting to find out who's been chosen for immortality in Cooperstown. But who really decides who gets in? Who are these mysterious voters? And why do some legends, like Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens, never make it? Today, we're breaking down the real power players behind the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Baseball Writers Association of America, and the ERA committees. But what happens when the BBWAA voters say no, year after year, and the player's 10-year eligibility runs out? That's where the ERA committees step in. Known once as the Veterans Committee, these smaller panels give players, managers, executives, and umpires another chance at baseball immortality. The BBWAA represents the first of a two-tier voting structure that helps to maintain the balance of the Hall of Fame election process. Founded in 1908, the BBWAA comprises approximately 700 members, of whom 300 to 400 are active voters. Provided a membership remains in good standing, after 10 consecutive years of baseball coverage, the member gains Hall of Fame and other award voting rights. Voting members may vote for up to 10 players on the ballot, which can contain between 20 and 30 eligible candidates. The Hall of Fame vote is conducted annually in December, and candidates who receive 75%, or 3/4, of the returned ballots are elected. Candidates falling short of the required 75% vote requirement remain on the BBWAA ballot for a total of a 10-year eligibility period. However, candidates receiving less than 5% of votes are dropped from future BBWAA ballots, but remain eligible for a second tier of voting by the Contemporary Players Era Committee. Now, let us consider a source of much debate, the BBWAA Character Clause. When first written in the mid-1940s, the intent was broad but baseball-centered. For example, to keep out players involved in game fixing or gambling, like those connected to the 1919 Black Sox scandal. To promote sportsmanship and professionalism, especially in an era when rowdy play, racism, and rule bending were visible parts of baseball culture. To encourage voters to consider how a player represented the game, not just their stats. At the time, there were no steroid scandals, political controversies, or social media behavior to consider. So the clause focused mostly on on-field conduct and baseball ethics. Over the decades, BBWAA members have applied the character clause in very different ways. There's no official enforcement or definition. It's entirely up to each voter's discretion. Some voters believe the Hall of Fame should reflect on-field performance only, arguing that character should apply only to cheating in baseball itself, such as gambling or performance enhancement. Those voters with a more lenient posture take the position that we're voting for players, not saints, while the voters with a stricter interpretation include a player's entire moral conduct, both on and off the field. They take into account the use of performance-enhancing substances, gambling, racist or abusive behavior, public comments or actions that damage the game's reputation, sportsmanship, and respect toward teammates, fans, and media. As a result, for these voters, the clause has become a moral filter, not just a statistical one. Conversely, some players with personal flaws or controversies have still been elected, showing that voter sentiment evolves and that interpretation is highly individual. Many modern writers and historians argue that the clause is outdated or inconsistently applied, citing that MLB itself profited from the steroid era and that there's no clear definition of character in the modern age, while yet others defend keeping it, saying it preserves the Hall's prestige and ensures that enshrinement represents more than numbers. As of 2025, the Hall of Fame and BBWAA have not revised the clause, leaving interpretation entirely to each voter. The second tier of the Hall of Fame voting framework comprises 3 ERA committees, each with a specific charter that adds balance to the Hall of Fame election process, and for some, represents a second chance to gain entry. Each ERA committee is comprised of 16 voters, with a mix of Hall of Fame players, non-players, and writers, and convenes every 3 years. There are no permanent positions on the ERA committees, as committee members are rotated for each session. Consistent with BBWAA voting, candidates must receive a 75% vote tally, or endorsing votes from 12 of the 16 members. The Contemporary Players Era Committee represents a second chance at Hall of Fame election for those players who did not receive the required 75% minimum vote count during their 10-year BBWAA ballot eligibility. The intended purpose of this committee is to ensure that a worthy contemporary era player has not been overlooked. The committee also considers players who were previously ineligible candidates for BBWAA ballot voting and whose status has since changed. The Non-Players Era Committee includes managers, executives, umpires, and members of the media, whose careers made significant contributions in advancing the quality and integrity of baseball, to the extent that it has long been considered America's national pastime. The Classic Baseball Era Committee considers all contributors from before the year 1980 and has now been merged with the once separate Negro League Committee. So there you have it, fans. We hope this production has led to a better understanding of how players and non-players get elected to the MLB Hall of Fame. If you enjoyed this content, please consider granting us a like and subscribing to our channel. Stay healthy, everyone.